Dignitaries on the stage, officials from the government, my peers from private sector, and my colleagues here. It's a pleasure to be here. Thank you, GovConnect, for organizing this session. I want to start with introducing Trigyn Technologies a little bit. I see a lot of common faces, but there are a lot of people who are probably not familiar with Trigyn. I'll still dig a little bit deeper and start with COVID. During COVID, you might have used an application called COVID for vaccination. Our team developed that application. So that's our actually second foray into India. Before that, in 2018, we did a virtual classrooms project in 4,000 Jilla Parishad high schools in Andhra Pradesh. And then we shifted to Delhi with COVID, and we ended up building about a dozen DPIs. I think Santosh touched on some of these large-scale national-level projects, and pleasure to say that we did quite a few of those. In health, after COVID, which is now UBIN, which is a universal immunization platform, we ended up doing what's called as a portion tracker. It's tracking nutrition of pregnant women, newborn kids, and also the midday meals across the country. In education, in school education, we built and we manage a platform called Diksha. For AICTE, we continue to build and manage One Nation, One Data. And, I'm going demographic-wise. If you go up in the age, when you get to youth, for the youth and skilling, we manage Yuva platform. And as you get to jobs, I guess for the self-help groups, we built an entire operating system. It's called the LocOS. And for those of you who wanted to go outside of the country and work for MEA, we did this project we continue to manage called eMigrate. eMigrate is a project where all the Indian blue-collar workers, nurses, it's an end-to-end process of a foreign employer opening up a job requisition, all the way till the immigration officer at the airport when the candidate is leaving, stamping your passport. It's the entire application, all the process happens through the application called eMigrate. So we did a lot of projects in a lot of these DPIs at the center, and now we're starting to focus on the state governments, because some of these national level platforms can be used at the states as well, the same way COVID was used by all states across the country, right? There's a small anecdote I would like to start with. We happen to also win this project called eMitra in Rajasthan. It's a citizen services project. When we started developing the project and we rolled out, I was joking with the secretary that this is the vision from our chief minister at that time, combined Andhra Pradesh, Chandrababu Naidu, of building these citizen services, and you guys seem to be spending more, doing more on the platform than what AP is doing today. And then he actually told me at the time that they went to Hyderabad. A team of about 7 or 8 of them went to Hyderabad and actually studied how that is done. And what he said was, when the CSCs and the citizen services were launched, in combined Andhra Pradesh, it started from Hyderabad. And then the adoption was big in the city, but in the cities, as it started going to rural areas, it's kind of stalled, right? It's 1 step forward, 2 step backwards. So they took the lessons, and he said in Rajasthan, they actually started from Pakistan border, from Jaisalmer. And the last place they actually implemented eMitra is Jaipur. So they went outside in. So that worked really well. So it's actually heartening to hear that the best practices are shared across the states. Officials who are here today attend events like this. They talk to private sector, like hundreds of people like ours, and understand what's going on in India, what's going on in other states, what's going on across the world, and try to learn from those and then improve the citizen services. That's very it's very encouraging, right? And hence we want to do more. The other side of the story, this I was talking more from the organization, from the government perspective. The other side is the involvement of the citizens. When we were developing COVID, Obviously, all the developers were working remote. It was developed by not a really big team, about 85, 90 people. They were working from 16 different states. The CoWIN came together from 16 different states. So we asked the developers, once the platform was launched on March 1st in 2021, to help their local communities, because they're developers, they know this well, so we asked them to go to their villages, towns, their blocks, and then help them. And they were very inspired, because now the village is proud that they have someone who's developing this platform, which is a national level prominent platform. So same thing in the blocks, in the cities, and all the places. So we were able to bring some of the community together as well towards the development. Right, so that's on the other side, where the communities can also come together as some of these platforms are developed for the citizens. And today, as you look at this digital transformation, the evolution of AI, right? So the technology evolution has become much faster. We can all agree. We use this in our private lives, right? Today, you expect to order a food and be delivered within 30 minutes. Do you expect to order a duplicate certificate and expect to deliver it in 30 minutes? We're not there yet. We're going to get there, right? So I think in some cases it's been done, right? Like I think, Santosh talked about this. I think, recently the PM Kisan, where the direct benefits for the farmers have been transferred. Some of the newer technologies were used in this. So more and more newer technologies have been used in some of these. And I think for the citizens, the expectations will always be that as the technology has permeated the private life, the expectation from the government will not be too different. Why should it, ordering food should be faster, and why shouldn't you expect the similar services from the government, right? And in fact, government has more services, more resources to actually bring these technologies to your fingertips. And the other thing is, it's also the expectations from a demographics perspective. Today, if you look at India, 60+% of the population is below 35, right? So which means they're all digital natives. They're very familiar with how to use computers, and you have your most powerful computer in your hand. And AI has, starting to change the landscapes. Post-COVID is when we developed all these applications. And post-OpenAI, post-ChatGPT, just in the last 2 years, now when we look back at these applications, our expectations is changing, where like the interfaces now need to be driven in local language using LLMs, right? And for the citizens can use it. They don't need to type it anymore. They can speak into it. You have integrations like Bhashini and Anuvadini and others which are made in India. And, in the same way, now you can start using some of these, the terminology I think is agentic AI, which can help to deliver a lot of services in close to real time, near time. So when we look at some of these applications that we do, it's pretty obvious that, within these 2 years, we need to start redesigning some of those to make them a lot more citizen-centric, right? So these are some of the things I think, like, we want to do more, and obviously we want to hear more in conferences like this and see how we can enable this adoption much faster. And the last thing which I want to say is, when you look from a society perspective, if you divide the society into 3 sections, where you have, the bottom 50% or 60%, India is much ahead than the rest of the countries, right? You have these direct transfers, direct benefits. In the developed nations, it's still, you have the conflict, like why do you have to give free money to the citizens? But I think universal income is a common concept where every country in the world has to adapt in just a matter of time. India is leading in that concept. So if you look at that section of the society, the expectation is you want to go up the ladder, right? You want education to the kids. They want to move up. So they need help until they move up the rungs of the ladder. And some of these, and today you have DTA, direct transfers and those, but there are other areas like education. The quality of the education, I think, is a struggle for us. But now with some of these AI technologies, it could be very personalized. It could be in the mobile devices. It could be in different formats because not everybody gets educated the same way. Same thing with healthcare. It's actually very unfortunate that no state in India has a completely integrated statewide health information systems. You know, it's not that we cannot do, it's not that hard to do. We have done better technologies than those, right? Most states have probably 40%, 50%, 60% of their hospitals at every level. You start with PHCs to secondary to tertiary, all of those. Today, no state has all of them connected. You know, I think the concept is picking up more and more. So, you know, more delivery of the services through technologies can become a lot more faster, a lot more easier. And then if you move up to the middle class, what do they want? They want better jobs. They want to move up better jobs. In this day and age, what better jobs means is it's continuous learning. You know, you cannot expect, you know, you learn some programming language or you learn a skill 3 years ago, 5 years ago, and expect to have a job with the same skill for the next 10 years, right? Those days are gone. So, you know, you don't need to know the depth of some of the things. That's the advantage of some of these digital technologies, but you need to know how to use them well. You know, I was reading this morning in the newspaper in New York Times that somebody who didn't know how to even write a piece of code is using ChatGPT or one of these LLMs and building entire applications, not for enterprises, but for the individual use, for them to learn, for them to earn money, right? I think these type of things we need to bring more and more to the society. And the last thing is, if you look at the top section, you have entrepreneurs who are the owners of the capital. For them, it's always, you know, regulatory clarity, policy clarity, so that they can take the risks of investing the money and clear the jobs, right? And I think now you have the concept of single window, and the single window now could be moved to virtually, where things could be a lot more transparent. So, you know, it's a pleasure to be here. Want to hear more, want to learn more, to see how some of these digital and AI technologies can transform the way we live, we work, and we have fun. Thank you.